What's up, everybody, and welcome to the 90s First Podcasting Network. My name is Mike, and alongside my co-host Joe, we take a look at some 90s content that we just can't stop watching. Join us on our flagship show, the 90s First Show. We look at some 90s content that Joe and I are watching, as well as some current stuff, and we end it with a 90s trivia contest. If you would like to connect with us, we are on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at the 90s First. And finally, if you would like to support us monetarily, we have a Patreon. Head on over to patreon.com/the90sfirst to show general support for as little as $1 a month. So whether you're listening to the 90s First Show or Test Your Might, Joe and I would like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We hope that you have a blessed day.
What's up, Justin? We are here for our latest episode of the 90s First Show, and it's been a minute because this one releases every 2 weeks instead of every week, like our other show. If you hear some noises in the background, I have a wonderful daughter who's being extra loud. So today's episode is going to be fun. But I am super happy to be back. And we will be discussing my 90s content, your 90s content, and some almost 90s content, which I'm excited to get to. But first, the housekeeping. Thank you guys for being here. We love you. We appreciate you. If you are listening to us on podcast platform, please rate and review us. Obviously, whatever the highest thing is, if you like it. Otherwise, the lowest thing, but I don't want that to happen. So just rate it high anyways. If you're watching us on YouTube, what's up? Hi. We are here to hang out. If you could also maybe hit that subscribe button, because we're on the road to 100 subscribers, because we want a custom link so we can just have everything at the 90s First. And while you're at it, right next to the like button is a bell. So ding the bell, and it'll let you know when our videos go up. Why not? It's so easy. All right, that's housekeeping done. The meat and potatoes time. We are going to get in to some cool stuff. School stuff?
Cool stuff.
To some cool stuff. But before we do, Justin, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great today. How been looking forward to being on another episode. So let's get it. Been watching some 90s stuff and excited to talk about it.
Nice. I mean, we're always watching 90s stuff, but just part of the gig, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's October right now while we're recording this, 7th to be exact, and I feel like it's that time of year, that time of year when it's acceptable for it to be Halloween all month because it's October now and pumpkin everything, right? Mm-hmm. Why not?
Oh, yeah. Everything.
So I see that Hocus Pocus. If you're watching on YouTube, you can too, but right there in the background. We might be able to do an episode on that soon because there'll be a 90s Now segment. But for now, I've been watching some Disney classics. I used to think it was a really great movie. Really good. Had Halloween stuff and monsters, witches and wizards. Well, I'm into that stuff. If you've been here any amount of time, you know that I have almost an obsessive love for Harry Potter stuff. So obviously, when it comes to Halloween time, Disney classics, throwbacks from the 90s, if you haven't guessed it already, I'm talking Halloween Town. We've got witches, we've got ghouls, skeletons, goblins, mages, wizards, whatever you want to call them, warlocks. Hello. It's a movie, as Cicero would say.
People are going to watch it.
People are going to watch it. Exactly right. I remember it being really good.
Me too.
And when I rewatched it, it wasn't as good as I remembered it being. Surprising, As a 90s content, usually it holds up pretty well. This is not one of those, unfortunately. But if I had to pick some fond memories of it, which I'm going to because, hello, it's 90s First. I really love the grandma and granddaughter relationship. The fact that she's super encouraging and a very bad influence, but at the same time a good influence on her granddaughter. I think that's good. It's got to do with magic. There's a lot of it. I'm into that a lot. So that helps. The skeptical little brother is super fun, whose name I'm blanking on, but I'll think of it in a minute. Nope, not going to think of it. Anyways.
Ron Weasley.
That's not it. No, it's not. That's a different series. It is.
A much better one.
A much better one. Speaking of 90s content, the books. 90s. What up?
Yeah.
But I know you've seen Halloween Town. Do you have any favorite moments from it?
Honestly, the cab ride is the one that I remember most.
Yes.
Definitely being in the cab with Mr. Skelly, the bone guy.
I think his name is Benny. Benny Bones.
Benny? Yeah, if that sounds right. Other than that, the theater scene screams out to me because it was kind of terrifying as a kid.
Ooh.
Where you meet the villain for the first time, really, and he is terrifying as a kid, but now it's kind of like,
a joke.
Yeah, it's a joke now. Yeah, great theater effects. I wish theaters did that nowadays.
Oh, yeah, it'd be
4D
awesome.
theaters, yeah.
But what is it? Calabar. That's what it is. I think.
Calabar, yeah. Well, the second one was Calabar's Revenge, I think, or something like that.
Oh yeah. So that makes sense. But yeah, that's my 90s content. I'm always reading Harry Potter, in case you guys were wondering. If you ever want to challenge me on Harry Potter trivia, come at me, bro. I will take you down. But that's not my content. So, Justin, what is your 90s content you've been ingesting?
Well, growing up, every Friday night we would have pizza at my place and we'd watch a channel that's not around really anymore, Sci-Fi channel. And one show was on every Friday night, Stargate Sg1. And I grew up with it, loved it. I was a big Star Wars fan as well growing up, so it was kind of ties, you know. Not so much Star Trek. I don't want to talk about that. But with Stargate, if you guys don't know, the listeners, there is a round portal that is on every planet, and this team of military and scientists go through portals to other worlds, meet life, and try to remain friends. But there are some enemies out there. I'm actually going through the seasons. There's 10 of them. You know, it started in 1997, and one of my favorite episodes I want to touch base on, I just got to it, is in season 2, and that's episode 15. It's called A Matter of Time.
A Matter of Time.
The concept of this episode is a team gets lost in a Stargate. They lose contact, and they have a video, and it just goes black. And then they send a drone, and they just see everyone in the team on the other side of the Stargate frozen, just standing still, completely still. And they try to close the Stargate, and it won't close. And they pan the camera of the drone up, because it's mechanical, you can still move it. And there's a black hole sitting out in the sky. And it's actually keeping the energy of the Stargate open. So they use their shields, and they close it, and it actually pulls the shields in the Stargate because of the force. And not only that, but also, as the title suggests, A Matter of Time, time starts getting pulled as well. So that means people that are down at the Stargate in the mountain are experiencing a different time than people that are back on the real, up on Earth, on the top of Earth, you know, above the mountain. So people will go in the elevator and meet someone, and they'll be like, "You've been gone for 3 weeks." And it was a matter of minutes. So it's all about trying to solve this problem and close the Stargate and save Earth, because eventually Earth is going to be destroyed as well through that Stargate with the black hole. It's an awesome science-y episode that it hooked with me as a kid, and it's always stayed strong.
That's so cool. So I remember watching a lot of Stargate Atlantis, but not as much of SG1. Yeah, I did watch some of it. I think I can't. I don't remember the difference between the two, to be fair, because there's Stargate Atlantis, and I think there's another one.
Stargate Universe. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're all the same.
All they're right here in this box.
SGU, that's right.
Yeah, Stargate SG1's always hooked with me. I tried Atlantis, but it didn't really go. I went to Farscape. I don't know if you've seen Farscape.
Yes.
That's another phenomenal show from the 90s as well. But I enjoyed Stargate a lot. It's pretty high there on my ratings, you know, with Lord of the Rings and with Star Wars. It's up there, above Harry Potter, unfortunately, but it's good.
You're wrong.
You know, there's also been a few spin-off games come out from Stargate itself. You know,
Really?
back on the Super Nintendo, there was a side scroller where you'd play as one of the lead characters, and you'd side scroll through the movie Stargate pretty much. And then there was another one, which is kind of saddening to think about, that they were gonna, I think it was, God, almost 11 years ago, 2010, when they announced this game, and it was an MMO RPG that was going to be Star Wars or Stargate Worlds or something. And they canceled it. They canceled it recently, but to live in that universe and to, you know, build a character up in an MMO, that would have been insane with portals and everything.
Oh yeah, that would have been awesome.
But sadly, it did get canceled and production stopped on it. But
it's what they do.
Yeah. If you do play the Super Nintendo game out there, the Stargate game is just called Stargate. It is very difficult. You know, games were harder back then, and it is it's like the Star Wars games, the old school Star Wars games. It's difficult.
How they're supposed to be. Challenging.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing. If you guys don't know, we have another podcast, Test Your Might, where it's all about video games. We've talked about that a few times, where games need to be challenging like they used to be, because they push you to be better and get better and try harder and learn new things and out of your comfort zone. And now it's just like, I don't know, they just give you everything, especially if you want to pay for it, then you can really have everything. It's like, oh yeah, just take it all. Go ahead, you can have it. Just pay us your monies and you can have it. You don't have to work for it, which is really sad. I would love it for it to be, you can grind it out instead of just pay to play. But alas, that's for Test Your Might. I remember in Stargate there was like big black dude who's from a different like world, right?
Yeah, he's a Nazgul. He has the emblem.
Yes.
And he's actually inside him as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I should have watched more. So I remember him very clearly. I remember the old white guy and then the lady were like the leader and like his second in command. And
my favorite was Daniel Jackson. He was the scientist guy with the glasses.
The nerdy guy.
The nerdy guy, yeah.
Fair enough. He's usually the best character in shows.
We were talking about Carter and O'Connell. Those are the Carter
O'Connell
is the female and O'Connell is the lead.
Gotcha. See, I don't remember the names. I'm glad you do. But I remember it was a good show. I had more fun with it than with Star Trek at the time, because those are the things that my dad would always watch. He always had Stargate, Star Trek on at all times. And then it was like Star Trek Voyager, I think, was about the same time as Atlantis. And I would rather watch Atlantis over Voyager. I wasn't a big fan of Star Trek Voyager. But again, I think that's 2000 shows. So
the only thing I know about Star Trek is, or I'll give them props for, is the holodeck, which is just a make your own world, you know, inside of a deck of a ship, which is fine.
Awesome.
It's cool. But other than that, I never watched it. I think the acting level is different.
It was different. I'm not going to speak too much because I don't want Cicero and Chris to get mad. So I'm just going to stop. It was different though, for sure.
Maybe we could Star Wars is higher.
And I'm not gonna get into it because I'm afraid they're gonna listen to it, and then on the next episode, it's gonna be gang up on Jelly again. I like all of it. That's where I'm gonna sweeten that, just right in the middle. Everything's good. It's all good. Yep, it's shows. People watch them. But
say that about Star Trek for sure. Yeah. It's a show.
They're good. They're great shows. I would recommend people watch Stargate. If you haven't seen Halloween Town, if somehow you've been under a rock for nearly 3 decades, about 2.5, and you missed out on it, watch it, but don't have good expectations.
Yeah.
Maybe watch it with really low expectations or no expectations and be pleasantly surprised. And then with Stargate, you can have pretty good expectations because I remember it being good. It was a good show.
Yeah, it actually was a movie as well. The first thing was a movie, so you could watch that, and if you like it, then you can start the show. Halloween
There we
Town has
go.
just a movie.
Yeah, it doesn't need a show. They better not do some sort of weird reboot Halloween Town series. Maybe it'd be good now, honestly, some of the practical effects they could do. Besides the point, I'm getting lost in the sauce. Justin, we're going to just go into what we've been doing lately. So what kind of stuff you've been doing?
God, I've been playing a lot of remake games, and I normally don't do that, but Diablo 2 is remastered, and I've
Yes, it
been
is.
rocking it almost every night. I only play hardcore online with a buddy, so that means if you die, and your character's gone.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's pretty intense.
permadeath.
With more people, more damage by the enemies and stuff, so it's really a stressful situation sometimes, but as long as you are good communicators and you know not to do something, or if someone tells you don't go in that room, you don't want to go in that room.
Gotcha.
Died a few times, working hard to make up for the mistakes. Other than that, I finally started Alan Wake today.
Nice.
The remaster of that, and it gives me tingles just like it did when I first played it.
Okay.
Not as scary as I remember it being.
That's good. That makes it more approachable for people like me.
I would recommend you play the first episode. It's, everything. It's not like scare like this. It's more like you see something and you can kill it. Like it's a story-driven thriller in that sense.
Okay. I think I could do
and
that.
really, the motif of him narrating it as if he was writing a story the entire time is really, the first line is Stephen King, and that's what he quotes right at the beginning of the game, and that's when I knew I was hooked when it came out originally, because
Yeah.
I'm a huge reader.
It's a good author.
Yeah, other than that, those two, D&D, Star Wars, great, causing problems and killing things.
Typical D&D stuff.
Yeah.
Nice. I have been busy here at home. Sadly, mostly work and no play. But big but here. But I have had a little bit of time to hang out with the family, and we've been watching some shows. And I'll actually finish with the show that we were watching because it's the one that we're going to talk about. But my fun time has been taken up with work, working a bunch of OT. However, I have been playing a little bit of Apex as usual. I have been re-listening to the Harry Potter audiobook series again because, again, always. And then I have to get Game Pass again because there are games coming out soon, and I let it lapse because all I've been playing is Apex lately. But next month, or this month rather, there's a bunch of releases that I have to play. Unfortunately, it means I have to part with some of my hard-earned money, but I've been working the OT to do it. So, don't you dare. But again, I'm excited. I'm excited to try some of the new games, and we're talking about them over on Test Your Might. But there are, this is the season for gaming and for new games as we roll in through October, November, December. These next 3 months, the Q4 every year is like a major drop before the next year starts, and so I think it's just all gearing up and gaming up for that. Ideally, I'll get more Apex time in, but
So you really want to play Back for Blood? That's what it is. You're like really into those horror games now, and horror games, and you want to play
I'm
Back 4
not
Blood.
against Back for Blood because I like vampires. Was obsessed with vampires as a child. Loved
So Back 4
vampires.
Blood Zombies. That's
Oh,
the
is that
Left 4
zombie?
Dead.
What's
That's the Left 4
the
Dead.
what's the vampire one that was coming out that they had showcased? And besides the point,
That,
I'm get
that's not for a while.
is it? Oh darn! Oh, Blood Rain.
Yeah.
Darn. Yeah, not playing Back for Blood then. No
You
zombies.
sure?
That's not me. Walking Dead was okay, I suppose, but I don't want to go any. Mm-mm. That's where I'm off. The show. The show that we've been watching is not a 90s show, unfortunately.
Close.
But it's close. And as 90s kids, it's the stuff we grew up with anyway. So, the one we're going to talk about and what we introduced my son to recently was Smallville. And listeners, viewers, guys, if you have not seen Smallville, feel free to turn this off and go watch. Just shut it down now, go watch,
Well,
and then come see our thoughts on it because we're gonna have a few spoilers here.
yeah.
It is arguably the best Superman content in video format, in my opinion. High
Agreed.
praise, obviously, and there's going to be people out there who disagree with me. I get it. It's my opinion. And you're here, so you might want to hear it. Maybe. I don't know. That's what we do here, though, is we share our opinions. In my opinion, it beats Christopher Reeve Superman. It beats the animated Superman series. It beats the original animated Superman series. The only thing it won't beat is the comics, because comics can be better. I mean, the written word is just better than a visual representation. But Smallville comes the absolute closest to what I envision for every single superhero, like what they need before they have any sort of other content. And he gets 10 seasons of who Superman is before Superman.
Where he came from.
Yeah, you get all of the history of Clark Kent, where he came from, how he learned who he was, and the powers, and where he was from, and everything. It's his it's 10 seasons of backstory for Superman. I just don't know if they've ever done a better job at giving us the prequel to a story.
No, they haven't. Honestly, a few weeks back on Test Your Might, I pitched an idea for a Telltale game for Smallville, and it's never left my thought process. And the show is the closest. It's so good that every episode there's a small baddie or a big baddie throughout a season, and he is learning his powers as if didn't even know what he was capable of, and he learns powers over the season and then incorporates them in the following. And I was very sad that Tom Welling, the lead actor, was not going to be in the next Superman movie. I was really wanting him to just progress into being Superman in the movies.
Oh yeah, when they cast Brandon Roth or Ruth
Like
or
Man
whatever.
of Steel.
Yeah. Well, even before that, yeah, they cast him in that one Superman movie, and then they did Henry Cavill as the newer ones, and it's a missed opportunity. You're right.
Yeah, he was such a good actor for the role. From the beginning and being confused and not sure what's going on till he was mentally strong and ready to take on the entire world. He did such a great job, Tom Welling. And I think there was something recently in one of the shows that he did a cameo. I can't remember, as Clark Kent, but I'm not sure exactly what that was. It was recent. It was maybe like a month ago.
Really?
Maybe two. Yeah, there was a cameo. Let's go into talking about our top episodes. The things that we remember most. Jelly, go ahead and hit me with one of yours.
I'm totally distracted, and I have to see where he cameoed as Superman. Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah, I watched that one clip of it. It was very good.
Oh man, okay, I missed that. I'm gonna have to rewatch it. So good. Okay.
Yeah.
Smallville episodes. Gosh, This is one of those series where I only remember there being a few bad episodes throughout the series.
Agreed.
So the in season one is a lot of him discovering powers, things that he didn't know he could do. There's one. I just looked up the name, but I was gonna say it's called X-ray. It is called X-ray, where he gets X-ray vision for the first time.
Yeah. Yes, I specifically remember a locker room episode.
Exactly right. And he's in PE. He's climbing the ropes. He's looking around. He looks at his best friend and he sees through his best friend's face and sees, veins, arteries, blood vessels, brain, skeleton, eyes in orbital sockets. And then he looks around and yeah, he is the typical high school kid, looks through the wall, sees into the girls' locker room. It's PG, PG-13 ish.
He looks away quickly.
Yeah, it's all in good fun. But it's one of those things that they did such a good job with it, and it was so it was just real. It's if you were a high school student and you just all of a sudden got X-ray vision, obviously you're gonna be looking around, you're gonna be looking at people, you're gonna be looking through their bodies and looking oh my gosh, I could see your brain, I could see what you ate for lunch, and all this random cool stuff. But he can't control it, and so that's I think that's the fun of it is. The series, these episodes, they show you again, they show you Superman before he was super. He was just a man learning, and again, Clark Kent, Tom Welling's Clark Kent is so convincing. You feel like he was learning all of it. It just feels authentic while you watch it. And if you haven't seen it, you guys, if you're still here and you haven't seen it, it's on Hulu. It's what, it's $7-8 a month, something like that. You can watch it.
Oh.
Maybe price has gone up. I don't know. I don't keep track of that because it makes me sad. But again, all the content, it's on Hulu. It's such a good series. But yeah, X-Ray was such a fun episode. Obviously for the campiness of it, but also for the vulnerability and realness of I don't know how to control these powers and I'm getting them and it's weird.
Yeah. Talking about not being able to control powers, perfect segue into one of my favorite episodes. Season 2, episode 2. It was also, I believe, one of yours. It's called Heat, and this is where he learns heat vision for the first time, and he cannot control it. He is in class, and there's a substitute teacher who is kind of PG-13 plus.
She's hot.
She's hot, and he, I guess, gets a certain fluctuation of hormones and burns the screen of the projector down, and then learns that he's getting heat vision from his eyes and burning things down, and people are starting to notice. And then Lex Luthor is actually getting married to this chick later on in the episode, and also makes him a little angry. The great part about Smallville is Lex Luthor is just a guy at first.
Yeah, he's a young guy.
He's a good friend of Clark Kent, and it teaches you that you're developing this character of this guy's gonna be an enemy. Lex Luthor turns into the ultimate evil, and you see them as friends, going back and forth, hiding the secret, back and forth through the entire series, and you see that friendship start to downhill spike until later on. And that's what's done so well about it is not only the fact you're seeing Superman be a man and learn his abilities over time, but you're learning the development of the other characters as well. You're developing how Lex Luthor became so evil, what caused him to become the monster.
Yeah, and I don't know if evil's strong, because the Lex Luthor that we come to know in Smallville isn't the Lex Luthor from the cartoons, isn't the Lex Luthor from the movies. It's truly a friend who, in my opinion, was done wrong. He was not trusted. spoil. This is all spoiler alerts. I feel like I was pretty fair at the beginning and said stop it, just turn us off and go watch it. But spoiler alert, if you didn't catch that, there are points throughout the series where the friendship of Lex Luthor and Clark Kent had opportunities for growth and opportunities for division, and at every one of those, Clark made choices that would divide that friendship instead of strengthening that bond. And it's good in a sense, because when you're big picture looking at it, you see how it could be taken and how Lex could try and use Clark. You in the beginning, there's you remember the episode with the old lady who could see the future?
Okay.
She was in the home.
Yeah.
She looks at Clark's future, she looks at Lex Luthor's future, and in one of them she sees death, destruction,
White suit.
the world dead, but it's Clark's vision. Everyone died because he was Superman. He was beyond them. He was immortal. And I think that she was looking at his home world, Krypton. I don't think she was looking at Earth. And then you get the same vision of Lex Luthor, but everything's perfect and wonderful at first. He's in his nice white suit, and then red, blood, dripping, falling, everything covered in it. And it was such a good, like, the imagery was so good, so well done for you to understand the types of people that they would be. A man who stands apart from everyone else, Clark Kent, and then a man who stands apart from everyone else, Lex Luthor, in completely different ways, in completely different circumstances. But yeah, you see such a great relationship between the two that you don't get anywhere else. Smallville is the only place that gives you that relationship between Clark and Lex.
Do you have any other episodes you'd like to mention, highlight?
Off the top of my head, there was the Red Kryptonite episodes.
Okay. You're just taking from my book. Are you reading my notes? You reading my notes?
No, but doesn't stick
right.
out. There's a couple of them. There's a couple different. I think there's at least two Red Kryptonite episodes. But they're fun. They're different. Yeah, you take it away. Explain more about it. If I know you know the episodes.
This is just you're like reading it. Season 2, episode 4. It's called Red. The class rings for the high school they're in, the Crows. They have a red gem in them, which are red kryptonite. And Clark has never experienced this before, so he puts the ring on, and he literally loses all will to make good moral decisions. He becomes BA. He becomes BA. Bad. Bad.
Capital B A.
He grabs a Harley or a motorbike, robs a bank, all while Metallica music is playing, which is my favorite band of all time. and I'm just watching Clark destroy and be a bad person while Metallica is playing, and I'm falling in love. Not with the fact that he's choosing to be bad, but the fact that it's an epic vision of what could be if he wanted to stay in that motif. And then he buys a bunch of stuff, and he's got all the toys that any kid would ever want in his barn. And his parents are just like, "Where'd you get this?" They don't know. And it's actually his friends from high school that find out, "Oh, it's the red kryptonite. We need to get it off him." And they solve the problem, which is really cool.
Yeah, I speaking of tragedy, what happened to Allison Mack later in life, but Chloe on the show, her character, so good. Everyone, honestly, something Percy the Third or whoever.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah,
I wish I knew his name off the top of my head, but I don't. But the cast in the show is so good. The way that they do it as, high school friends helping each other out, like, it's such a well done show that I can't speak highly enough about it. Again, missed opportunity for sure for them to cast Tom Welling as Superman in something. I'm glad they finally let him be Superman in the Infinite Earths cameo, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's about time. But I can't speak highly enough about this show and how wonderful of a job they've done on it. It is so good. Just so good.
Apparently Jensen Ackles was in it. Did not know that.
Was in Crisis on... Was? Oh, no. Yeah, he was.
I don't remember this. Well, it's before my Supernatural fix.
Another great series.
I know that what's her Martha Kent, the mom of Clark Kent, or the adopted mom, was also in the original Pennywise Stephen King's It as well, and she played the lead female in the adult version, in the adult section of the film.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she also played that.
That's fun. Oh man, dude, that is an interesting film. Not 90s, right? Was it? No, that was 80 something.
The original one?
Yeah.
The original, it was 1990 exactly.
Was it 90? Okay.
Yeah. With Tim Curry, the original, yeah.
Yes, as Pennywise. So creepy. Maybe we'll talk about that on our next episode. It was 2 weeks time.
Oh.
We're going to be right close to Halloween. Maybe we'll pick our favorite 90s Halloween content. Okay. So y'all listening right now, you heard it here. You heard it here first. Wow. You heard it here first. I'm thinking we do the 90s first show goes Halloween theme. So Hocus Pocus, which you've got in the background right now. We've got, I'm sure, some of the actually scary movies.
Yeah, all the scary ones. There's definitely some that branch from the 80s to the 90s. So yeah, I'm sure Mike will have a couple to grab.
And I'll choose the actual scary movie, like Scary Movie, the parody films, because I don't do scary movies. It'll be perfect for me.
Well, you can do Hocus Pocus or any of the Disney Channel movies. That'll work.
I mean, I did the Halloween Town today. I'm just gonna keep going. We're gonna jump in a well. Dump in a well. Wow, words are hard for me today, man. Yeah. All right, let's wrap this up with some 90s trivia, and then we'll start pre-gaming for next episode. I'm gonna watch some Disney films. You and Mike like horror films, so I'm gonna leave the scary stuff up to you guys, and we'll have a more adult themed episode next time where we talk about mayhem and 6 feet under people. It's a PG way to put that, right?
Yeah.
All right. If you're ready, I've got a card here. The question is, what lava lamp looking fruit drink hit shelves in 1997 and quickly disappeared due to poor sales?
Lava lamp looking beverage?
I have no idea.
The only thing I can think of, well, the twist top like plastic things are still around.
So Squeeze-Its?
Yeah. That can't be that. Lava lamp shaped beverage?
Fruit drink. I was thinking Squeeze-It as well because it has the same sort of shape. But
you said fruit drink?
Yeah. Lava lamp looking fruit drink hit the shelves in 1997, quickly disappeared due to poor sales. No.
You want to take a guess?
I'm sticking with Squeeze-Its. That's all I got.
Squeeze-Its? That was what I thought of initially, but it's still around, isn't it?
It is. Oh, it's called Orbits.
Orbits?
Never heard of it. Orbits.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I remember looking at these. For the viewers, you'll be able to see.
Yo, those are BA.
Now they would be, but apparently they were terrible.
Dang, those look cool. All right.
There's
Well,
4 of them.
this was a fun episode of 90s First. We got a little bit of Halloween stuff, a little bit of sci-fi stuff, a bit of what we're doing, and a lot of Smallville. And honestly, I'm okay with that because I love Smallville. If you guys have not watched it, again, please go watch it. It is so good. Also, Stargate Sg1, Stargate Atlantis, SGA, and SGU are also good. So, might as well check those out too with all that free time you have. Justin?
And then Halloween Town with a small bit of hope.
Yeah, I would just leave that out of there. Having rewatched it as adult, like, my kids thought it was okay. So if you've got kids, your kids will enjoy it. That's the fun part. Especially about being a 90s kid is a lot of us 90s kids are right about that age where we've got our own kids and we can show them the good stuff instead of the absolute trash that's coming out now. And that is...
Well, at the same time, then your kids would want to watch Harry Potter because they have that and it's much better.
We do watch Harry Potter. I mean, that's a given. So
they would choose that over Halloween Town. That's what I'm saying.
No. They liked
Really?
Halloween Town. Yeah, my son really liked Benny Bones is the cab driver scene is a hook. Yeah. The fun grandma is a hook. The magic and fun, it hooks kids so good. And like the fact that it's fun, practical effects makes a big difference over CG, and like it's not too whimsical. Listeners, viewers, we love you and appreciate you for showing up just consistently. If you could hit that subscribe button, again, we would muy appreciate it because we want that custom link. We want to be easy to find, and we want the algorithm to be able to help us grow. If you want to help us grow, we have a Patreon where you guys can support us. Basically, all the funds there go straight back into this and what we're doing. All of it goes straight back into this, learning the software, learning things, getting video cameras and stuff like that that we can be on YouTube now. So thank you guys for supporting. Thank you patrons for supporting us. And if you want, we're Patreon at the 90s First. We are on socials, all socials at the 90s First. And we are in your ears now. And we love you. Thank you. And we'll catch you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.